Hello everyone. Today's video will be about end walls in the greenhouse. This will be part 3 of my greenhouse series. Let's get started. So if you see this end wall here, this is I'm on my west end of my greenhouse of the bigger end, I should say, as far as end walls go. Again, my greenhouse is 12 feet wide. And you may say, oh, that's a big opening for a door. Well, it is. That's a 48-inch opening, and that'll be big enough. Once this baseboard is removed, I have to put a couple posts in the ground here on either side to anchor it, because once I cut this away, you lose your strength going this way. And then it's 40 inches wide, because that will allow my my lawnmower as well as my dump trailer in here to basically, at the end of the season, or even the beginning of the season, because I'm using mostly grow bags in here and I'll be trucking in soil and everything, this will be a good access point to get in. And since it's at the west end, basically the back of the greenhouse, it won't be looked at as an eyesore. So all I did is use basic 2x8 or 2x4 framing lumber. This one here, this is about, I don't know, 65 inches. Well, all I did basically is went up to the top of where the 48 inches spanned, where it hit each corner of the hoop, and then basically went down. Then all I have down here is some bracing. Again, this doesn't have to be any type of specific measurement. I just did it like this. That way, I kept this square the same on each side in case I ever want to add a window. The dimensions are about 2 feet by about 2.5 feet, 30 inches or so, the opening. And then again, it's all this 2x4 framing lumber, just your regular 3-inch, you can consider them deck screws, multi-purpose screws, any type of screw really, 3-inch long. And then I actually have a corner piece here, and all these are actually this corner piece is for a reason as well. I'm undecided what I'm going to actually plywood up or put plastic on, but basically when the plastic gets wrapped around this hoop, it has to attach to something, and you can't just staple it to this thing. You got to actually use either wiggle wire or some type of 1x3 framing lumber, which is what I'll be using. And so basically they'll wrap it around tight, put a piece of framing lumber up on this, or your 1x3, you nail it in, screw it in. You do the same thing here. It just adds protection and basically security, really, to make sure the plastic doesn't come off. Then on this side, all I did is basically mirrored it. It's the same mirrored from that side. And if you actually take a step back, if you look at it like this, it looks like it's crooked. Well, no, it's not crooked. It's because the greenhouse itself is on a bit of a slope, so the baseboard here is on an angle, but this is square, plumb using a level. So basically it's pretty simple. Again, there's no real way to do this or a real wrong way to do it, however it fits your needs. But I guess I want to show one thing is these hoops weren't attached to this at all. So what I did is underneath this tape is I actually have a metal pipe clamp. You can get some pipe tape that you could wrap all the way around that has holes in it, or you could use a pipe clamp, whatever, or however you want to do it. But basically you have a self-tapping screw through the pipe clamp, and then I attach it with a 3-inch screw here, and then the duct tape again, which is on every joint, by the way, is wrapped maybe 3, 4, 5 layers around this screw to eliminate the rub of the plastic being on here. Once the plastic is on, especially the end walls here, I'll cut strips of plastic, maybe 8 or so inches in square, and put them in against this to kind of give you a double protection, so this duct tape doesn't react with the UV treated plastic, and kind of have another layer of a barrier, which I think is very important to have as many layers of barrier as you can between your structure, whether it be wood or steel or aluminum or plastic or whatever, then you're probably that's going on the outside, because if you get a hole in this, or if you have something that reacts to the sun, you're going to eat away and you're going to degrade the 3 to 4 year value of your plastic. And then lastly in here, which this is optional, I've seen these done. A lot of this design was taken from a hoop house that I built 15 years ago down at a shrub nursery down in Pennsylvania, where I grew up. But basically, these are 2x4s, 10 foot. It's screwed in the top there, and then it's screwed in the bottom here. And basically, what that does is lock this end wall into the baseboard. And if you try to shake it, this thing is pretty solid. It's it's not going anywhere. So let's head up to the top side and I'll show you a little bit about that end wall. Alright, now we're up to the east end of the end wall, and again the slope is very noticeable here. However, this is all squared up, plumbed with level. This has a bit of slope to it, which is fine. This is the other end. It looks a little bit different. The opening here is 32 inches and 32 inches by 78 inches, and what that will do is that will accept a door, that an actual steel door, steel and wooden door that I have on the porch, the entranceway of my home, which is going to be replaced in a couple of weeks. So I have this framed out for that door to fit here, an actual door that'll have a latch to it, and it'll look a little bit better than just having a piece of plywood. Then the two big openings here are both 33 inches by 52 inches, and those are both going to house two storm windows, again, that are coming off of that porch. And what that will do is in the summertime, I'll be able to open the windows on both sides, and they have screens in them, which can keep out bugs. However, depending on what type of bug you're trying to keep out, that's not necessarily a good thing. But in any case, there will be screens in there, especially if I want to let it open, say in the evening, so critters don't get in and what have you. That way at least some ventilation gets through. So those are two windows here. Again, I mentioned at the bottom there, I have openings cut for windows. I don't have any windows, but all I could do for a simple thing is to put a piece of plywood with a hinge that opens up, and there, bam, there's your ventilation. Ventilation is key in the greenhouse, which I'll talk about in a minute. But that's why I have the windows, and basically all it is framed out exactly like the west end wall. You just get your dimensions in, cut some framing lumber, put it up. Again, pipe clamps attaching to the hoops themselves, multiple layers of duct tape, and on the end is just like I did on the other one. I'm going to put a piece of plastic, leftover greenhouse plastic, over this to provide double and triple layer protection against wear. And again, it's pretty solid. I have the braces, the 10-foot braces on here, just like I do the other end, and the braces may be a little bit of an eyesore. They don't really take up that much space if you put it in perspective about how big the greenhouse is. But for my money, I'd rather work around that and have the bracing, especially with the wind that we get up through here. This thing is pretty solid right now. Once the plastic goes on, it'll be even more solid. But with these end walls built this way, I'm not going to have any problem with wind or anything like that. So anyway, that's how I go about doing my end walls. If you have any questions, again, please leave them in the comments below or send me a private message. Thanks for watching.